welcome to season 2 on the Hobby Hammer Vodcast. Issue
Hobby Hammer!
1. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Season 2, baby. Okay, so why have we broken it up into 2 seasons? Well, one, Max has had a baby. Congratulations, Max. You are looking very tired. You look even more tired than me, and I'm jet lagged.
Yeah, mate, my eyes are quite small anyway, so I look high quite a lot from just like small eyes, and now they're like disappeared. So I might need like some cocktail sticks to keep them open.
Black around them. Yeah,
exactly.
I've just come back from Adepticon. Yeah, we decided to take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a hiatus, because the weekly schedule, even though we just chat and talk nonsense for an hour, it does take its toll, and sometimes you just need a goddamn break from each other. So that's what we've.
Well, I need that frequently from you, Miles. It's 4 days a week.
Worryingly, I did see that note of truth then in your eye. You know, like, yeah, fair.
Well, we've talked about this before. The break in between, rather than talking every day, keeps us fresh for a good bicker on a Friday.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, battery's fully recharged now.
Yeah, and I am feeling pretty confrontational today.
No, the tray's the best hobby implement. Oh, do you know what?
I've got an even better one. I have found an even better one.
No, I'm going to beat you on this.
A student at Adepticon had the best one. But I've bought it on Amazon. I don't physically have it here. So it might. Should we reveal this in the next episode?
No.
Cliffhanger.
I've got a better one.
You can't beat my one.
24 quid from Aldi.
Right.
Miniature hairdryer.
Mine one beats it.
Brilliant for
mine one beats it.
Back in terrain. Yeah, mate. And all of our desks are full of shit anyway.
Oh, should we have a little preview about? So this is my desk right now. Before I left,
what
I have a melange of miniatures. So whenever I go away, or whenever I do anything big, or so I bought this office last year, and I'm really nervous, like month to month, because this is more than likely going to fail, right? All young businesses in the first year, you manage it, you're fine. But I'm just coming up to the end of my financials. And like all of this background knowledge being in the back of my head, this background anxiety, right? So I've been collecting Black Legion. It's the collection I had as a kid. It's nice, it's comforting. Now I had that same kind of anxietal spurt of hobby, I guess you could call it, in the run-up to Adepticon. I was a little unsure because of the change of venue. Like, how was I going to get up there? The times. It's just a lot of things I had to juggle in my mind. So I started looking at Badab, my comfort place, and I started dragging out all 5th edition miniatures, because there's a big market for 2nd edition miniatures, right? But like 5th edition miniatures, they're a little bit unfashionable now. But that was really the time of Badab. So I dragged up all my old miniatures, plopped them out in front of me, and realized, like, God, I got a bigger problem than I thought. I've got about, 4,000, 5,000 points just in Marines, ready and raring to go. So I've had to split those up into smaller elements to build a Badab Legion. But I've got all the miniatures. I don't know whether I'm going to do anything with this. I got to catch up on commission work. I got bills to pay. I got so much stuff I need to do. So this little anxiety hobby project could be a case of me just packing everything up, dumping it, like, oh, that's nice, and then dumping it away for another 10 years.
Mate, he's also Badab, so it's never gonna work. I'm convinced now the way that you get a Badab project done is not telling anyone about it and just doing. Because as soon as you talk about it, it fails. It falls apart.
So this miniature, a student off the back of the conversion course that I ran a couple of months ago, wanted to learn how to convert miniatures and how to use green stuff. So as an example, I showed him, okay, let's try Lufthuron. Cut him up, start to rearrange him. I'm like, oh, this is actually looking quite good. And I have bought these like Space Marine characters. I mean, thinking, oh, perhaps I could create like a little kill team. Like, oh, why not think bigger? Why not expand? And that's what this dump of miniatures in front of me is.
The anxiety Badab army.
Yeah, the anxiety response. Yeah.
So that's been your like home hobby that you've been doing.
Home hobby, yes, it has. Yeah.
Okay.
Professional hobby, it's been preparing for Adepticon, printing things out, making sure the timings on my lessons are right, getting in touch with people, making sure everything. So that has been my professional hobby, organization.
Right. Well, since Adepticon, obviously for everyone out there, is going to be our main topic for the show, I'll do my like home hobby bit, and then what have I been doing?
What have you been up to?
Oh, mate, what have I not been doing? So since we
What
actually
have you
last
not
did
been
a hobby hammer, I didn't realise this,
Uh-huh.
but I've done my Trench Crusade board and played a Trench Crusade campaign.
Right, okay. Can I see how terrible it's turned out? Because no way the idea worked. Like absolute trash.
Well, wellity, Miles. So you said the magnetic crosses would never work, but I've got this piece of scenery. It was just like expanding foam. Oh my god.
Piss off. Piss off.
Oh my god. Now I will give you an out. I will give you an out, Miles. What I said my vision was that I'd get a handful of crosses and just throw them at the table and they'd stand up.
Yeah, you did say that.
Yeah, so it's not quite that good, but
no, you're right. Yeah, you completely failed at that.
So yeah, so I'll give you an out on that one. Now I filmed the process. I've actually for once filmed it. I know.
I'm so mad that that's worked.
You called me a dickhead as well, and it went
I've
well.
I've even been talking about you behind your back, saying that project will never work.
Excellent. That is just the best. So
I can feel another anxiety project coming along.
Well, that was really satisfying when it works. And I filmed it because you'd said it'd never work. I was like, I'm going to film this and I'm going to do a video on it specifically to spite Miles. So that video will be coming out soon. And it sort of kick-started along with like playing the Trench Crusade campaign. But I was like, do you know what I really like doing? I like making terrain. And I had, basically, I've had a bunch of time with New Child where like Child is sat on the table in like the baby holder.
Don't spoil the illusion. You've just dumped her off on the side.
she's on the floor, the cold hard floor,
playing with expanding foam.
Yeah, and I'm spraying expanding foam and spray paints in the house, obviously. But I've been like doing just some. I printed this ship before and I rigged it up.
So, you were printing it when I was down there.
Yeah. So I've rigged it up, and we played like a ship game, which I'm gonna edit tomorrow, I think.
Is it a ship game of Trench Crusade?
No, a ship game of the old world using the General's Compendium rules.
Yes. Yeah. Badass. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got.
So we've got like Dark Elf Corsairs, an Orc like water boat, and what was mine? A frigate. So we've got them, Dark Elves, Empire, and Orcs playing the booty quest. It's chosen because the scenario was called the booty quest. And then I was like, right, I'm really liking doing this terrain. So I've made some buffle gore because I got to think it like, do you know, like it's like 3 a.m. and you're just thinking some stupid, crazy thoughts. And we've been talking to Phil Hutchinson, who's been on the channel a few times playing Wood Elves. And I was like, right, like, how do the Hordes of Chaos survive on the steppe? Like, they're on the Kurgan steppe. How do they survive? They must be this, like, unless it's like chaos magic, which I just don't. I'm not into that, man. It's too wishy-washy.
Easy answer.
Yeah, so I made 20 buffle gore. And because they must be vast hordes of buffle gore and herds across the plains for them to hunt.
Yeah.
So they bit of mobile terrain and some trees. I made some seafoam trees, like latex seafoam trees, like for a big, large sort of oak tree.
Yeah, I can imagine that they'll subsist mainly on protein. out there, whatever they can hunt.
Well, that's it. It's
doesn't
the
look too
carnivore diet,
diseased.
mate. Carnivore
Yeah,
diet.
steak and eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Buffalo gore eggs all the time.
Where are they going to get the? So the buffalo gore provides the meat and the eggs.
Yeah. Chaos magic, mate. That's the bit of chaos magic that I'm fine with.
I said, no, I'm here for it. No.
Yeah, buffalo gore.
Because that was one of my biggest complaints about AOS when they first came out. Like, how do they farm?
Well, was it genuinely, or because that would have been one of my random
a little bit, yeah, a little bit. Not. I mean, it wasn't like the main reason why I didn't like that game system when they first came out. But yeah, it was part of the reason. Like, you had this unbelievably well. I feel like we're picking at scabs here, but this unbelievably well fleshed out world that was just like crumpled up and thrown in the bin, and then we're starting with what? Anyway, I don't want this to be a topic. I don't want.
Right. I'll move on because I've said what I've got to do to justify me doing these, and I'm just going to lampshade it and everyone can look behind the dirty fourth wall. Is that I've actually got to promote myself, man. Like, because one thing that I've never done, because I hate doing it, really. Like, I'm terrible at Instagram. I'm terrible at pretty much everything except for putting a video out on a Saturday, if I remember, because it's slipped in the last few weeks with the baby. But, like, yeah.
You've had a baby. You've been as regular as clockwork.
It's unforgivable, Miles. It's unforgivable. I've been well annoyed at myself.
It's much bigger in your own head, I guarantee it. Yeah, one week is not going to slip. It's not a pattern of unreliability up until that point, and from now, it's been week on week.
Yeah. Well, one thing that hasn't slipped is the editing, because I've edited Battlefleet Gothic, like with the Eldar Mamidia Craft World ambushing the Planet Killer. The Inquisitor weekend that you were invited to but couldn't make it to.
That I said I'd attend.
Yes.
Right up until like 3 weeks beforehand.
Exactly. That one. So you can catch up on that. I'm uploading it as soon as we finish this. So that the first one of them is coming out soon. Got Legions Imperialis, White Scars and Iron Warriors, as well as an Ash Waste campaign, of which I've been...
Bro. Is that the new campaign book?
Yeah, the Ash Waste Nomads came out. So I've been making, along with the Buffalo Gore herd, I'm making herds of the insecty things. I've been watching Yellowstone as well. And I've been watching a load of Westerns. So obviously it's all fitting in, mate. It's all fitting in.
It's all coming together.
But that is what I have been doing. That is loads of editing with baby next to me. It's just hard to film do you know, the talking ones? Because then I've got to like rabbit on. But editing.
And you're not sure how much time you have before you have to do baby stuff. Yeah,
exactly. When they just like start up and you're like, oh my God, there's been a poo explosion fountain.
And I think for people without children, you don't realize just how fragile these things are and just how much care they need for like the first at least 6 months. After 6 months, they're fine. They're pretty much independent.
They raise themselves.
They raise themselves, but like they always need to be on someone. They are being fed or like every 3 hours or something like that. And you might not realize just the test of endurance and will it takes to keep this thing alive. My first child, I didn't understand how humanity came to be the apex predator on this planet, seeing how fragile. I mean, you see deer out in the wild, right? They're born, they're up on their legs within like a couple of seconds, springing around, eating grass. Boom, done.
Mate, he's 100% true. Like I didn't realize that it wouldn't just be like feed, put down to sleep, carry on doing stuff. But on the deer tangent, right? Have you ever seen? Do you know like hooved animals? A lot of them, because the hoof is like solid. Have you ever seen like the foot capsule that they're born with?
No.
Oh, mate. Right.
Does it come out hard or soft and it hardens up over time?
Let me send you. I'll go 1 sec.
Oh my God! What?
Let's go to. It's like this. It's like this weird squid thing.
Oh, are they hard on the end? Or are they?
No, it's soft, and then it hardens up in the first couple of hours after birth.
Oh my God!
It looks proper weird. It looks like kimchi. That's been one of my weird findings out over the baby thing, the baby time period. Probably because of watching westerns and being like, "There's a horse been born," but it's a how does that happen? Yeah. So how weird is that? How weird is that?
I really can't say what I'm thinking, but a few OnlyFans ideas are starting to pop up in my mind. Oh no!
What?
Let's swiftly move on.
Swiftly veer. Let's get back to the. Let's take it to the professional topic. Let's take it to the
let's take it to the pros topic. Adepticon 2025.
What everyone is here for.
Yes, 2025. Right. So in the run up to this, I guess we should start with the run up to this. Big change in location. Big anxiety-inducing. Change in location, moving from the Schomburg, which has been for the past 10-ish years, and we've moved up to the Baird Center. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Baird. Like a beard, like a beard, or like there's a bear that
BAIRD, like the university. I've gone to Baird.
We could get hung up on this all day. Okay, so how was it to get there? Like that's one of the things that I was looking at was like, it seemed a bit more of a nightmare.
This is where my adventure begins. I originally booked the flight from Heathrow to Chicago, straightforward, about 7-8 hour flight, easy peasy. And then I booked a connecting flight from there to Milwaukee, a 2-hour delay, and then an hour flight up there. And the Baird Center is about a 3-minute drive away from that. Nothing at all. So if you want to travel up like that, that's probably the most convenient way of getting up. However, what felt like the hour after I booked that non-refundable, non-changeable flight, because I'm not going to change this, I had a message from one of the hobby event organizers. Could you cover a class on the Wednesday evening when I arrive? It's like, yeah, sure, I can make that, no problem. Oh, by the way, when is it? Okay, turns out I could fly to Chicago and then catch an Uber up, and I'd make the class. Perfect. I had a friend. I'm going to really throw my friend under the bus here. You know who you are. I've already had crosswords with you. But he promised to pick me up at the airport. Like, oh, yes, even better. Free car ride up. Got there 3:45. Went through immigration about 20 minutes. Started messaging like, oh, where are you? Like, oh, I'm in Milwaukee. Like, you what? Why are you in Milwaukee? I'm at Chicago. He read my ticket wrong. He went to the wrong location. Oh
no!
Try to jump on Wi-Fi. Uber, $100. Oh, okay. Book an Uber. Try book an Uber. I don't want to pay his expense, but fine, just to get me up there to teach. My Wi-Fi isn't connecting. It keeps dropping. Nothing's happening. This has now become a brick. Nothing. And I asked the taxi firm outside, how much would it take me to get up there? It's $300.
For one, I know they've got bad business practices, Uber, but that's a significant saving. Like, we're not sponsored by Uber, though. If you want to sponsor us, well,
I would be willing to pay money into unhealthy working practices and a corporate culture agreed if it got me to where I needed to be for $200 less. Yes,
it seems crazy. That seems crazy, though, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah. I think there's a bit of an upmark because it was from outside the airport.
Outside the ring.
It was like, anything out of like a 3-mile radius or 5-mile radius was time and a half.
Right.
But the time was ticking on, and I just had to pull the trigger. I just had to say yes and go for it. I was thinking on the way up, I can't buy back my reputation, right? No amount of money can buy that back. But for $300, I can get there on time. When you do those mental gymnastics, it's a bargain. Yeah. Get up there, a little bit jet lagged, managed to teach the course. But when I get there, holy God, this place is significantly bigger. Really? Significantly bigger than Schomburg. Yeah, now Schomburg is out in the middle of nowhere. It's just a hotel dumped on the outskirts of Chicago. Whereas the Baird Center is smack bang in the middle of Milwaukee. Lots of stuff to do there. which we'll get onto, but managed to get there just overawed by the size of this location. Managed to find the course, managed to teach them. My first course was covering a course for modern synthesis, who unfortunately had a bit of a medical emergency, and that's the reason he couldn't go. It was his first year teaching. He was super bummed out. I really hope to see you there next year if you're watching this video, because the class were asking you, and I was just the substitute. I stepped in for a little bit. Now, trying to take photos of this place, it doesn't really do it justice.
Yeah, I'm trying to find some.
When you're being driven in, just the sweep of the city and how it just keeps going on and on and on into the distance, and the amount of skyscrapers that are there. And you get to the Baird Center and you're surrounded by skyscrapers. The Hilton's attached to it. Many of the buildings are connected by these little skywalks.
Right.
So I got there, taught. Let's go through the size since we're on this topic. My first day there, teaching 8:30 in the morning, the Caravaggio course, which I'll go through. But after that, the day was mine. I just wanted a little walk around the vendors hall, catch up with friends, have a look around. And there's a massive Space Hulk battle there, which I found out quite late in the afternoon. This huge Space Hulk event that I wanted to go out and check and see. But normally at the Schomburg, 5-10 minutes, you've looked around most of the rooms, you've had a look around. But this place, the Baird Center, it took me a full day just to look around the sellers convention, like the people selling goods there. It took me a full day just wandering around there, seeing people, interacting with people, looking at everybody's wares. And it has 4 of these floors, 4 full floors, packed, absolutely packed with vendors, displays, section off to the side with the Golden Demon, gaming tables, food halls. So you extrapolate the Schomburg having 2 layers, being quite centralized, but then you multiply it by 2 and spread it out, at least double.
Yeah. So did that then encapsulate the entire event? Because I know, say, when it was in Schomburg, there was they had to have a separate hotel for like historical games. Was this
no, it was all so it was all the Baird Center, but they were separate buildings connected by skywalks.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so it's labeled as one building. There we go. You can see it up on screen now, but there were connecting portions to it. It wasn't. There was. Yeah, there you go. You can see it on there. So that little thing there is the main entrance, which I managed to go in. That's when you go in, and then you're walking along there. And my hotel room, which Alex, thank you very much for dropping out and selling to me in a bargain, was attached to it. Now the Hilton I was staying in had, oh God, I want to say about 30 to 40 floors. The elevators, because it's such a big building, you go in there, not all the elevators go to every floor. You had to go to certain elevators to get you to your floor. Another cool thing about the hotel I was staying in, they had a couple of cockapoos working there as greeters.
Oh, really?
So you get down there, you get down in a really sour mood, and there's a couple of dogs there you get to play with.
What strange employees.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder who came up with that idea. Like, it's not a bad idea, as you said. It'd put you up, but can you imagine like coming in one morning and being like, "I've got a real good idea, boss.
I got a genius idea. Dogs.
Yeah, we're going to employ some dogs.
Everyone loves dogs. All cultures love dogs. Yeah, let's get dogs. Let's do it." Those are some of the skywalks connecting the buildings together. And just a brief little look around, you can see how central this thing is. The businesses surrounding it, the coffee shops, the steakhouses, the barbecue places. And this is a significant advantage over the Lost Hotel. Schomburg, out in the middle of nowhere, you're paying inflated prices for terrible food.
Yeah.
You just really pay through, because they were the only game in town. Here, my favorite place to visit was the barbecue place across from the street. I got a meal, a couple of beers for about $40, which translates to what, like 30-ish, 35-ish quid.
Who knows anymore?
Exactly.
Who knows anymore? It's all not real money.
but you'd be paying that for just like this microwavable pizza at the previous place. And you know, you're able to travel further afield. By the end of it, we did, okay. One of the disadvantages of it being so big is that nobody really knew where to congregate at the end of the evening.
Oh, was there not like the bar?
No, the Schomburg, there was the bar. End of the evening, there's nowhere else to go, right? You'd gather there, you'd gather around that big fire pit, you'd bump into people, you'd chat, you'd mingle, you'd move around. There was nothing like that.
Really?
There was a bar in the hotel, but unless people knew how to get over there and walk over there, there wasn't like a bar at the Baird Center. It was just floors and floors and floors of vendors. That's it.
We'll have to remember for next year then, because hopefully I'm going to be able to go next year.
Next year, yes.
Ruth was nicely born, because I was worried that she was going to be born on the weekend of Adepticon. And I was like, it's not even her fault, but she's fucked me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she wasn't. So next year,
good girl,
I'm going to be on it. So
yes.
we need to remember this to set them right. 1 a.m, we're all going to meet in the hotel bar.
Well, by the end of it, we did find something. We did, and this is another another drawback of this is that you don't have to stay at the hotel adjacent to there. It's not like one hotel. The entire place, there's like 5 or 6 hotels, huge, absolutely huge places. And you can have Airbnbs, you know, all the rest of it. But if you're looking for a hotel, smack bang opposite it, there are loads around there. So you don't have to stay on the location, which again, good price-wise, it makes it a little bit more competitive, but there's no central location that we found initially. And this goes into, like, I didn't find a decent cup of coffee until like 4 days in.
Really?
Yeah. On the Saturday evening, though, we did manage to find somewhere. It's called 4th Street Market, which is a block away from the Baird Center. Good coffee, just down Canaries was the name of it. That's the place I found. Coffee, so good there. Like, okay, you're going to find it now. Little boutique owned area. It's not Starbucks. Do these little pastries in the morning, phenomenal, and they let you use the Wi-Fi as well, which is great.
But is this where the congregation spot was?
Yes. So 4th Street Market was the congregation spot in the end. Inside they had like golf driving ranges, games to play. They had like Skittles set up, like physical games that you can play inside there. God, and every year, sorry, I got to track down the name of this game because I keep bundling it. I sound like an idiot when I try to describe it.
No, God, we'll do that exact thing then. Do that exact thing then.
Okay, cornhole. I'm not going to sound like an idiot. No, cornhole.
You went cornholing.
Cornholing. Every year, all the artists get together. It's a little bit of a tradition, and we play UK versus rest of the world in cornhole. I think the rest of the world's won for like 3 years on the trot, and they won this year as well. But yeah, cornhole. Unless you don't know what it is, you have a bean bag, and you throw it across the room, and over the other side, there's like wooden slats with a hole in the top, and whoever can get in the hole or closest to the hole wins.
Yeah.
But rather worryingly, there's no protective area. There's just people drinking on the side and behind it. And we did have a couple of beanbags fly into people's food and knock it over, knocking drinks over, smashing against heads. And for a country as litigious as America, I thought that would be a huge health and safety hazard. But it did add to the spice of the event.
Did people not get really angry about it, though? When that happened?
A little bit ticked off, but as a community, we're not that confrontational in person. Online, we are lions. In person, not so much.
Fair enough. Well, how was the actual event then? Like wargaming wise, rather than just the food and the congregation spots. How was the actual event?
I feel like I've been reading Betrayer recently, and there's a section there, Khan, he hates war poetry because every battle told from a different perspective gives a different story. So the grunt on the ground charging the lines gives a very different depiction to like the general at the back, right? I felt very much about this event. You can ask different people to get very generalized views of this. I can only give my impression. And it's so big. Normally at these events, I'll do my teaching, I'll hang out with the Heresy guys, because there's really nothing else to do there, or hang out at the bar. So I'll get an impression of all the events. I was only able to teach my events, and that's it. I did have a look at a couple of the vendors, but my events that I taught, so it was sculpting, Caravaggio course, which I was very surprised that I was asked back to do, because every year people are asking about that Caravaggio. When are you teaching the Caravaggio course? So this year, taught it again, sold out. Thank goodness. I might be putting on the docket for next year. After that, beginner sculpting, beginners weathering, and I want to say something else, but my mind's drawn blank. Yeah, but the Caravaggio one was the biggest one that I taught. And the Caravaggio course is simply a biography of his life. This very tempestuous character who killed someone over a tennis match and tried to kill somebody over a plate of artichokes.
Sounds like your spirit animal.
Horrible human being. Horrible, yes. But one of the greatest painters to ever live, yeah. And he is famed for a technique called chiaroscuro, tenebrism, basically slap chop. This is what he's well known for. On a black canvas, well, near enough black canvas, he'd sketch white over the top. So he'd have very harsh black and white reflections to start building his characters up. So you look at slap chop, does the same thing. Pre-shading, all exactly the same thing. So we took a deeper dive into his use of light and shadow and storytelling with his pieces. We had a look at what Caravaggio did with building his color palette on top of it, and just how nihilistic a lot of his work was, especially towards the end of his life when he was on the run from authorities in Malta and Rome and possibly elsewhere, and how we could translate this into our own work. So that was the Caravaggio course, 4 hours long. Hopefully students got something from it. It's not one of those courses, okay, you learn how to glaze. You know, you put the brush here, you end here. It's very like A to B. The Caravaggio course is more, let's throw up a bunch of ideas in the air. Let's teach you about them and see what sticks in the years to come. It's a very amorphous kind of course to teach. Less so the beginner's sculpting. So learn how to sculpt a beard, piece of armor, different, and is very much based or pitched towards beginners. If you've never picked up a tool before, hell, if you don't bring any tools to this course, great. You turn up, I give you tools, I give you putty, we mix something up. And by the end of that, even if you haven't touched anything at all, you will have the ability to sculpt a basic beard and an armor, a piece of armor for your miniature in 2 hours. And all the students did really well on that. It all surprises me just how good the end results are off the back of that. And then finally, color theory. Yeah, I had a color theory course, because at the end of the year, I sound like a broken record now. By the end of the year, there is a color theory book coming to Kickstarter. It's been written. I think we found a publisher for it. Unlike most Kickstarters, I don't want to take the money first and then work out the logistics. I want to make sure the logistics are in place with the book quality, knowing exactly how many they can turn around in what time frame. So when the Kickstarter does hit, it's all in place. There's no faffing around. There's no waiting. There's no delays. We can just run them off. So I taught the color theory course, and that culminates in the students being able to paint their own skin tone using nothing but the primary colors by the end of it.
Oh, I hate that test.
Yeah, and you're a pigment wizard by the end of it. Yeah, everyone became grand wizards at the end of that. I think that's the term. It means nothing else. Don't search it.
I was going to say, it's fine to call it that over here because we don't have that connotations, but you taught a course and called it that in America.
It doesn't have any connotations, so I don't know what you're talking about. Yes. And then on the last day, weathering, how to wear, and Wilf from Divergent Realms very kindly donated some of his bases, the broken dreadnought, the one that's all messed up. He donated those for the course. So thank you so much, Wilf from Divergent Realms. Please sign up for his Patreon. Please sign up for anything. Buy all his STLs. Phenomenal guy. Students had a great time bashing the hell out of that. And at the end of the course, at the end of the event, I'm a little bit tired. I'm a little bit loopy. I'm really up for it. I was given a hat by spraygunner.com, like a little promotional thing. But I don't really wear baseball caps. It was a really nice white baseball cap with colors along the side.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking about Latara Sarin, and I gave the story of Latara Sarin, how the highest honor you could achieve within the World Eaters was the bloody red handprint of Anton. So I had the genius idea of smashing my hand into red paint, smashing it onto the hat, creating a handprint, and one of my students, Bruce, became the War Master of Weathering. So he got that hat that I'd mashed with paint. Please never wash that hat, it'll come off.
You didn't do it with your own hand and spike in your own hand?
I didn't do it with my own blood. No, I did it with my own hand. Yeah, I got my hand, put it on top of the hat to imprint my hand on it. Yes.
Right. So, Miles.
That was my impression of Adepticon.
That's your experience in teaching.
Back teaching. Yeah.
Did you see the Warhammer preview this time?
I didn't. I couldn't find the venue for it. I was in more than enough time after teaching on the Wednesday. I went from room to room. The place was labyrinthine. It's so massive. And nobody seemed to know it was happening either. Like I was asking staff members, I might be up here. I couldn't find, I just gave up in the end and went to the hotel room and I looked online. Okay, so I didn't have this experience. I want your impression of it, because I was in my hotel room looking through this. I'm not sure whether it was the jet lag or the fact I was pissed off I couldn't find it. But the reveals felt a little bit underwhelming for me.
What? Right.
Okay.
Right. So, there's one of them, because Heresy wasn't there.
I think that was it as well. That was partly it. I built up in my head, and I had that horrible sense of this was coming. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm privileged. Our community wasn't privileged with this, so to hell with you.
You were much more in solely, or not solely, but the games that I play are much more broad than I think what you think about on the daily. So I couldn't have given a fuck about 5 of whatever other game systems they were in this, because we've got Space Wolves. Yeah, there was a nice Rune Priest.
We'll talk about the Space Wolves when we get to them. We'll talk.
Are we going through them all? Are we going through them all?
Well, I do want to hit up the Space Wolves because a little bit of controversy sparked up on my Facebook page.
Right, let's go over them now then. Let's go over them now.
Should we do it? Okay, so I posted up one of these guys. So look at I think it's the Blood Claw. He has black skin.
Yeah, this guy. The Wolfguard head takers.
No, I think it's the first one, the first picture or series of pictures. You click on them to go.
What? Because space dudes can't have black guys in there. This guy.
It was one of the miniatures painted black. Yeah. And I got a bunch of messages on my Facebook page Snow White. Oh my God, woke. I hate woke culture. Since when are Vikings black?
Right.
For one, they're not Vikings. Okay, and with all the diaspora of conversation behind woke culture and the maybe corruption of archetypes, you have this whole thing butting heads. Okay, there's just one simple, infallible truth. This thread running throughout of logic that if you're on the left or the right, whatever side of the debate you're on, you cannot deny this single thread of truth that will either upturn or reaffirm your opinion. Fenris.
I mean, it's a full planet.
Nobody's native of Fenris. They were shuttled there. Humanity was not born on Fenris. They colonized it.
Yeah, and I mean, Fenris is a full planet, man. So it's got an equatorial region. And
it's part of a much large... Oh, right, okay, I didn't know that. Right,
what I mean is, there's got to be an equator somewhere.
Oh, right, I see what you mean. Yeah, I get you. Okay, and it's part of a much larger Imperium. It's part of a much larger ecosystem. It's not just one planet in isolation.
So the Space Wolves can only recruit from the one planet.
Oh, right, okay.
But points that, and plus, does it fucking matter?
Ultimately, no, it absolutely does fucking not. No, but I just
I can't
want to,
believe
like,
people
head
actually
that.
commented on your
So I
Instagram.
popped that up because I really like the knee pad change. That is what I was trying to draw attention to. Yeah, the knee pad change. It feels like it's much
no
closer
knee
to
pad
the.
there.
Yeah, they're like the flare on the top. It
Yeah.
feels like it's much closer to the Space Marine aesthetic, and I do really like the more reserved manner of how they've represented space wolves. It's not like wolves all over the place, wolf helmets, Wolfie McWolf. I like how
Yeah.
the blood claws start quite unadorned, and the higher up the rank you get, the more wolf pelts and crap you get on you.
Yeah, do you know what? I really like the depiction because I'm one of the people that likes Prospero Burns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right?
me too.
So I
it.
really like that. So I would have liked to see more like furs, more tokens on them. I'm glad that they did, as you said, not wolf head. Wolf heads are the stupidest thing they can ever put on something.
Yeah,
to
especially
represent
helmets.
I know they're the space wolves, like fucking one wolf head can convey that, and that's on the shoulder pad.
Yeah.
So, but like, yeah, they're nice canvases to work from, I think.
You can even see a couple of them like turning almost like wolfen.
Yeah, like
that guy.
Yeah, a bit on this picture here. That guy.
Yeah, like he's going like wolf childish.
Yeah.
I like he's got the bolter in one hand. No, a callback to
the True Grit
early
rule.
editions of the rules.
Yeah.
True Grit. Yeah.
I know it, mate. I used to play Space
Scroll
Wolves.
across.
Yeah.
There's another guy I really like, and again. Yeah. So
that guy's head's really good. That one there.
Yeah. Okay. The black guy. The armor of him. His like knee pads. Like it's all one section.
Yes.
You can see it's not like so it's a callback to Mark. Is it 6 armor that has like
Mark
the entire
6 has
thing?
it, yeah, but the Mark's I think the Mark 7 kit from third,
I think it's the separate bit as well. But like I like that because it brings you closer to the classic Space Marine aesthetic.
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, they should have just upscaled it. And it feels like they
Primaris
slowly...
issue. Let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it.
But for me, they're bringing it back closer. Okay, I am happy. I'm a happy camper. I'm happy
and these wolves are really good as well, man.
And different knee pads. Yeah, all really solid.
Like the actual look of the wolves.
The wolves look better, yeah.
Oh, that's a nice head as well.
Mm.
This one here. Yeah. Like the flat sort of... The Iron Warriors have the same with hazard stripes down here. But that's just like an unhazard striped one that's got the nose piece. And that nose piece looks great on it.
That looks super threatening. I like the runic work as well on his armor. It's not like a wolf there again. It's like on his shoulder pad. Yeah.
Well, that's it. That having just runic stuff and furs, I think, is the way to go with them, or at least it's the non-ridiculous, stupid way of going with them. Right. So that's Space Wolves.
Yes, Space Wolves. Big 2 thumbs up for Space Wolves.
We've got Crisis, Armageddon, Grey Knights.
So I looked through it. I thought it was just a repackage. I didn't realize that was a new model. You had the opportunity to change it there. Get rid of the baby carrier in front.
Right, I'm skipping this, Miles. So I couldn't be asked. The mission deck, nope. Sand and Bone playbook. It's some terrain and...
Terrain, repackaging all materials. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, great. A nice way into AOS. Cool.
Kill
Team.
Some nice updates to the Raveners.
Yeah. Yeah. Look.
And some repackaging of mech stuff. I think these are new. These Breacher Servitors.
Bunch of Servitor stuff. So Servitors are nothing that I can get like oh my god, Servitors, but I like that they're part of like a wider, so you can use these in your Inquisitor games. You can use the tech thralls from 30k.
Those tech thralls from 30k, they have spoiled me because they look so good with the twitchiness and like zombie.
Mix those with these, I think. Again, bigger bits box. Can't be mad at them.
Yeah. Wood Elf and Beastman, we've got like returning kits and...
Is the Wood Elf Dragon coming back?
Is the Wood Elf Dragon coming back? Let's
The
scroll
best
down.
sculpt of that era. The best dragon sculpt of that era.
He's not, mate, and I'm glad that it's not getting
no.
added back to the world. But yeah,
Oh, well.
what do you think of this like Lordy guy, the new?
He's an old plastic miniature.
This one?
Yeah, he's an old plastic miniature. I've painted him on commission. Yeah.
This guy's the new guy.
That's
this
new.
Beastman guy.
Yeah.
I think we've already gone through that. The familiar is the best bit of this model, I think.
Yes, yeah. I can see people buying it just for that familiar.
Yeah, and it's like
Oof,
the
that is a
Empire
really nice familiar.
Wizards as well. They have some really good familiars in them.
Mm-hmm.
But most Cathay, this is what got my shit going.
Gush over your love of Cathay.
Well, we've all seen them already. I've seen a lot of people just being like, "Oh, well, we've already seen them in Warhammer 3." But we haven't seen the
miniature form.
Yeah, exactly. And to like they're rendered so well. Like to be as Cathay. And the dynamic poses, they are modern sculpts that we obviously like when they've been re-releasing the old plastic kits, people have been like, "Oh, is this what we're going to get?" Is not as inspired sculpts as, say, Age of Sigmar. But kits like this, where you've got the cavalry, even this ogre loader, the guy carrying a single wheel thing, like there's so many little intricate details on there that they've clearly had the amount of care put into them, as, say, the Age of Sigmar kits that have previously been outstripping the old world stuff. But I just think they're excellent, and it's the first new army added since I think last time I said this I forgot ogres, but it's the first new army added since ogres in 6th edition, which was 2003.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So unless you count which I don't count the split of chaos into demons, beasts, and hordes.
No. They were there already.
Yeah. I that's a regression.
Brand new lore, brand new miniatures, a brand new faction in its entirety.
Yeah, and he's just absolutely excellent.
I love the Sky Lantern. It's just completely and utterly bonkers. It would never work in a million years on an actual battlefield.
You don't need to.
Who cares about that? It's an amazing concept.
But it works to the level of Bufflegore eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or like a power fist. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And they're so well done. It's a new faction. It's an interesting faction. My only criticism is that they don't fit into the old world. By which I mean, I've always had this slight niggling annoyance with Lizardmen and Tomb Kings, because Tomb Kings are really shoehorned in to leaving Necrotaria, Nefertaria, whatever it's called, the Undying Lands.
Egypt.
Yeah, fancy Egypt. And Lizardmen have to be really shoehorned into leaving Lustria or the Southlands. So it's always felt weird playing against those factions within the old world.
Yeah.
Now, this could definitely be seen as similar. And I know they said, Skaven and Vampire Counts and all these other factions in Legacies, say, Ogres and Dark Elves, they're not in because they're so far away in the world. Well, now we're getting Cathay. So that sort of doesn't stand up anymore. Because other than, say, trade caravans, which actually I've run 2 events based on Cathay and trade caravans, or actually Empire trade caravans going to Cathay. I've run 2 fantasy events now doing that. But I mean, in the official
let's be real about it. It's not a law choice why those factions were left out of the old world. It's something to do with the upper echelons of the business and how they want to seemingly separate out the 2 worlds and the 2. Lord knows why, but they it seems like they want to keep those 2 very distinct from one another, not clash. So,
right. What do you think of? Let's just go over because all of the kits are amazing. The lantern is really inspired.
This piece
what do you
is
think
such
of
a
now?
Standout. This is a standout. So you can show this to a non-Warhammer fan and think, "Wow, that is awesome. I want to get into whatever that is." This could possibly convert new people into the hobby. Old heads looking at the hobby, I love the sculpt, the flow, the Asian influences to it, the colors. So does she turn into that dragon?
Yeah, I think they've said like she is that dragon, isn't she? She's
Yeah.
two forms, whether or not like she turns into it lore wise.
Sure.
I think they. Am I making it up, or did they say in the preview that she does? But either way, you've got two forms, so either at list building stage or during the game, she'll be one or the other.
Absolutely head over heels in love with this miniature. You're going to see this miniature as a competition piece a lot when it's released.
Oh, mate, I think we're going to see this miniature in games to the point where we're all going to be fucking sick of seeing this miniature.
Sick of it, yeah.
Like it's going to be to that level, and I'm going to add to that problem. I'm going to hold my hands up.
Yeah, like me too. I've already. I might not collect anything else from this, but I'll buy that as a pure painting piece.
Yeah, well, my current plan is. Do you know what I was saying about terrain at the start? My current plan. I'm currently printing a Chinese junk.
Oh, right. Yeah.
To like play shit battles with to justify them being in the old world. But my plan is with terrain building now to make a cafe table. So, like to just entirely not like celebrate the release, but really get into the release of
and
cafe.
There are so many like STL files out there of like.
Mate, there's a bunch. There's a
Lil'Legend builder, and you got that FDM printer. You can have that. Yeah, you can rattle out something. Yeah, gorgeous.
Well, I'll show you as we're going along. Now, the Dark Realms, Shrine of Huxia or something like that, has some really good, easy FDM terrain.
Look at that.
For Cathay.
Perfect.
So that's one that can be immediately jumped on, as well as Hortilla Miniatures, which have like more basic.
Oh my god! I've just had a thought. Every year when I go to Adepticon, I'm always enthralled by the Bushido game and the miniatures. In that, like, I've never played the game, but whenever I'm there, I'm like, oh, these miniatures are so good, and I always pick up a few. I've done the same this year. I could just transfer. I've got a Cathay army already. Yes.
The one thing about Bushido is obviously like Japanese, so it's been more a Nippon army.
Yeah, right. Maybe mercenaries.
The one thing, well, yeah, it all works, man. Like it all works. Don't let me shit on your parade. Like they're great miniatures, the Bushido ones. The one thing about the terrain is I think it's all MDF.
Oh, I don't have any terrain. I've just bought the miniatures.
Oh, right, okay.
It's gone as far as that. Like I like those miniatures. I'm going to produce a whole series of them. Don't look at them for like the next year.
Yeah, but that is the plan. Like massively get into more old world stuff that I probably shouldn't.
Cathay,
make some terrain.
Crusade.
Yeah, well, I've just printed up. This is I've painted up. Like Walker guy as well. Like it's all coming up.
Beautiful.
Painting. It seems.
Yeah, I mean, we very briefly touched on Trench Crusade there. Should we chat about the vending hall and the impression? Because that's the only other place I really spent time on. I did go to the Heresy group, like always, by far and away, for me, best community. Love that community. Large, welcoming, inviting, phenomenal. The Firix guys were there, like all the regular faces were there. Didn't get to spend any time whatsoever watching the game, so I can't tell you how it went down, but it seems like there was a good time enjoyable. Like nobody left with a dour impression. Vending hall, that's where I spent most of my time. So I did do a demonstration for, I keep messing up the name of these, Ionic paints.
Yeah.
So I did a demonstration. I picked up the non-metallic metal thing through them. Yeah, Ionic paints. They imitate like enamel paints in their work. And it's becoming more wider and wider distributed now, thank goodness, because they're quality set of paints. But I felt uneasy recommending them because they're a little bit more difficult to get.
Yeah.
But distribution seems a lot better this year. So if you did want to dive on this trend, everyone on Facebook, Instagram, you're using them, they're saturating the arts market with them. Highly
Right.
recommended.
Well,
But I did a little demonstration for them.
when you say they're like enamel paints,
Yeah.
like a lot of enamel paints are used just like oils that dry faster, like for washes and stuff.
Yeah.
When you say like they're like enamel paints and you use them to do
Yes.
non-metallic metals,
Mm-hmm.
what would be the benefit of that over an acrylic?
Yes. So they are advertised as being enamel-like. So they're acrylic paints, so they're water-based. You can mix them up with anything. So they're easy to use with enamel paints. They have nowhere near the same kind of drying time as enamel, but they do last longer than regular acrylic paint. You do have an extra second or so of blending time if you do want to do lots of wet blending on your miniature, for example. But one of the other benefits of enamel, it dries harder. It's a lot harder to shift so you're going to get less paint chips on your miniatures.
Right. Okay. So it's like added layer of protection, extra working time.
Yeah. And they've been designed to be super saturated paints as well, because it's easier to desaturate a paint, like rob it of its potency and its color rather than saturate it, in which case you need to use ink and then it might not match the tonal quality you were originally going for. So very saturated paints, hard to rub off, and have a slightly longer working time as well. And they're very nice to run through your airbrush as well. They're not that finicky, because we ran out of thinner on the stand on the day. We just used water to thin them down, and it worked okay. Yes, so that was my impression of the Ionic stand. Nice, big, friendly, welcoming. But a couple of big standouts for me: Journeyman Miniatures.
Yes.
I always go to the stand and I always say to the owner, when I get back, I'm going to buy one of your miniatures, and I forget until next year. But this year, I managed to put my money where my goddamn mouth is and pick up a bust, because that is a common thing I'm hearing again from students over and over and over again. I love army painting, but I feel like I've hit a ceiling with it. Where do I go next? So I've picked up this bust. I'm going to be preparing materials over the next couple of months, because painting a bust is completely different to painting armies. It'll take me a couple of months to not only photograph it, film it, paint the miniature, and then I'll start producing materials. And I want to do a more academy-esque teaching style with that via the Patreon. But alongside this, I am opening more spaces on the Patreon teaching services come next week.
Right, okay.
I always leave a few open for students who've attended the courses and who just want to get going with their own miniatures. So I always leave a few open. It'll be offered to those students first who attended the courses, and then it's going to be opened up wide. So if you are interested, if you are in the same boat that you've been an army painter for forever and a day, but you don't know where to go next, perfect time to sign up. Perfect time to get in contact with me, and let's set something up. But at the Ionic stand, after me, the demonstrator, Louise Snudgeon came along.
Yeah.
My God, talk about celebrities in this world. At no point during the event when I saw her that she wasn't covered by people, an entourage 2 layers deep. Woo! Yeah, and I wish I could say bad things about her, like, oh, she was so stuck up and like she didn't care. Like every interaction I saw her have, like off from the distance, was genuine. She spent time, like it wasn't just filming material for YouTube for her.
Yeah.
She's having conversations. She was taking the time. She was like genuinely, and you can tell the difference between the people there creating content and other people there trying to have like a human experience. For her, she was just more than happy to have that time to talk to people. And Peachy as well. I did meet Peachy. Well, again, I wish I could say bad things about him, but god damn, what a lovely guy. Yeah, smelled great as well, which even, yeah.
He said it's a standout at some gaming events, so I suppose it's worth commenting on.
No, he smelled phenomenal. Oh, but the last thing I want to hit on here, because again, it was so overwhelming. The vendors there, normally I have a little bit more time to chat, but I was just high-fiving people and moving on. We couldn't see each other because it was so big. I did spend a little time at the Trench Crusade stand.
Yeah.
They had a few bits and pieces there for sale. Not that much because they're a young company expanding. But the lead writer was there. You're going to make me do this, aren't you? Tomas? Is that how you pronounce the name? Tomas?
When I interviewed him, he was like...
Which you can see now, by the way. You can see that video now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is Wales playing or something? Can you just hear everyone in the background?
It's the wind. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's the wind. Right.
Yeah, the wind.
Not bothered about how you pronounce it, so just continue.
Oh, great. Okay, so Jeff was there doing the... No, Tomas was there. He was doing introductions. He was talking about the world. He looked stylish AF, by the way. Like this black shirt. Yeah. And they had props there as well. I'm not sure whether you've seen these online being advertised. They had the helmet, the gun.
Yeah. I saw the Soleil helm and the...
Yeah. Like, gorgeous. But it was a big sign, please ask to touch beforehand. But they were so swamped with people, I didn't want to take them away. Got to see a couple of the miniatures as well, the painted miniatures behind the shelves. Yeah, everything.
Are you about to blow away? Is the Wizard of Oz happening?
I am, yeah. I'm going to be taken away by the wind. And I only found out about the seminar after the fact. So big. This place is so big. There's so much stuff happening all at once, all the time. I would have loved to have attended that, but they were talking about the world. They released the map, by the way. They revealed that.
Seen the map.
It feels like it's a company that's growing year on year, minute by minute. And they've got something right. They've really captured lightning in the bottle. And they feel like they're making all the right moves to progress this into an actual legitimate company and expand.
Factions having specific models, like sub-factions,
yep.
Obviously great move. And I think they said about a plastic multi-part kits as well, which is going to be great for converting, because one of the problems that I've heard a lot of people say about the Trench Crusade stuff is that game's great, it's encouraging conversions and stuff, but it's very hard to convert for a lot of people. In a lot of cases, say the new Antioch, a monopose, full single piece resin miniature, printed resin, especially printed resin. So really good to hear that they're going to be doing their plastic.
If you don't have access to a 3D printer, or you don't know anyone with access to a 3D, I know they sent out the physical stuff, but even then, the resin tends to shear away at chips. It's not like plastic. So even for them to be considering doing a plastic kit, it just shows the ambition of the company.
Well, it'll be good for it'll be good for the expansion as well, because one thing that I've heard in a few local hobby shops is, well, we like it, but either the shop's got a printer and it's they've printed for themselves and been well, we can't sell you these models. We're a game shop that wants to play this game that's struggling to allow it to be played in store. Or it's just, well, we're a game shop, it's a really big game that we want to play, we've got no printer to print for ourselves, so we can't even show off the game for you to go home and spend money not in store. It's in a bit of a hard place, I think, at the moment, and plastic kits definitely will alleviate that.
Plastic physical products in store, maybe even some kind of licensing system for it. But again, I think they're thinking, they're mulling these ideas over. It's expanding every day. It's expanding every day, and it's nice to see a company in no way, shape, or form challenge Games Workshop, but it is nice to see the groundswell of enthusiasm that exists for this in the community at large. Yeah.
And if you want to see some Trench Crusade games, go and check out Barefoot Miniatures.
Barefoot, dive on it.
Sick plug.
I would love to break this up into a two-part episode, because my experience with Adepticon was limited. Yes. Everybody's experience is limited to certain portions. So let's see if I could bring on some of the Heresy guys. Let's see if we can bring on some of the Trench. Hell, let's aim for the stars. Let's bring Louise onto this. Let's get in contact with Louise Snudger. And hey, you smelled great at Adepticon. Fancy diving on the channel for a quick chat?
I thought you said it was Peachy that smelled great.
Peachy smelled great, but I'm sure she smelled equally as good.
Well, let's get Peachy on and
let's
in
get
person to smell him.
100%. Let's get Peachy on. Yeah, I want to. We had like a little back and forth about pegging as well, which I'm sure he's sick to death of. Like, oh, another fucking guy talking about pegging. Yes, you're very funny. You're very original. Get out of my face.
Right. Well, with that, hopefully,
Adepticon Part 1, 2025. Oh, if you're worried about attending 2026, would I recommend it? 1,000,000,000%. The change in venue did free things up a little bit. I felt like I had a little bit more room to move, to breathe, the ability to walk across the street to grab a bite to eat that wasn't overcosted. And the great thing is, if you wanted to stay in the venue, those same businesses had stalls in the center, so they were charging the same price. You know, pretzels and water was $5 a pop. Jesus, take a bottle of water with you and just refill at the stations that they got everywhere. Do that. Because the first time I paid, I'm not paying again. But yes, the ability to walk around, see it. And, you know, even if you don't want to do hobby stuff all the time, they have like art museums. The Harley Davidson Museum is there. Lots of stuff to do there.
Stop selling Adepticon, Miles. It's sold. It's sold.
2026. Be there, be square.
And we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.